What is that? What is that? What is it? Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
What's up, guys? We're here with another deck profile, so why don't you tell us who you are, what you played, and what place you got.
Hey, it's Nick. If you watch the channel, you'll have seen me on here in my dumbass face a couple of times. Subscribe to the Nautical, or I'm gonna break into your house and leave your microwave door open in the middle of the night.
This man has issues with microwaves.
All right, don't talk about it. Today we played the worst deck that I've ever done kind of good with. We got second place. Sometimes you just get sacked and you lose, but we're playing Beetrooper today.
The bees.
The bees. Had to try it out. The deck's not great, but we're doing it anyways. We're doing it big.
All right, let's see this deck.
All right, starting out, the most important card, 3 Resonance Insect. You have to play it at 3. You have to draw it, or basically your board's gonna suck. Drawing this plus a free extender is the only way to make Winda plus a Monster Negate plus Atlas. That board's kind of weak, but in terms of an insect deck, you're not going to get much better than this. Rest in peace, Insectors. Searches your big guys, your level 5 and higher, dumps any insect. This card does everything, and it's not once per turn for some reason. Thank you, Konami. You make broken cards. All right, next up, Scout Buggy. This card sucks, but you have to play it at 3. You summon it off of Atlas towards the end of your turn to make Cicada King. Other than that, you don't really want to use it. Please don't roast me too hard about my third Ultra not being there. When it's normal or special summon another copy of itself from hand, deck, or grave. It's pretty good, but a lot of times you're not really going to use it outside of summoning it from Atlas unless you're really hurting, and in that case, you're probably losing already. 3 Scale Bomber, you're chain blocking with this guy, and also, if your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you contribute any insect, I believe it's just any insect or just this guy, contribute any insect to destroy it. So earlier today, it didn't matter because I lost, but I got Zeused, and I just chained this to destroy the Zeus. That way we were on neutral board state, and he top decked E-Telly. That was cool, but, you know, whatever.
Dirty virtual world players.
Yeah, dirty virtual world players. Pretty good. It just chain blocks your stuff. It's important. It's a free summon. 2 Sting Lancer. This card is insane, but I drew it every game, and you don't want to draw it. If you draw it, you can search something else, like I'll show you later, little spicy stuff. During either player's turn, quick effect, you can special summon it by targeting a monster in your opponent's grave and an insect in your grave. Put them both on the bottom of the deck after you summon him, and then when he's summoned, you can search a Beetrooper spell or trap. So it's functionally a very slow and kind of bad DD Crow, but it's also really good at times. It's really good against Tribegate, specifically. Anything that needs a certain card in the grave, this card does wonders against. I might cut this down to 1. The 1 Mighty Neptune, we're playing this combo. This is the best way to play this deck. This card is insane, even though it kind of sucks. Summon it by shuffling back 3 banished insects, specifically into the main deck. If you go extra deck, they do not get summoned. He doesn't get summoned. And then, while he's on field in your control, if he's destroyed or banished by a card effect from the opponent, you can summon him back. And then, during the end phase, every end phase, you can target an insect on your field and make him gain 1,000 attack permanently. So, integral part of the combo, you have to play it if you want to play the good version. Assault Roller, the only thing that matters is that he summons himself by banishing an insect. He's just Aztecapede, he's the Rock Spirit, he's Gigantes, whatever you want him to be, that's what he is. He's level 4, he sucks. That's all the Beetroopers. So next, the Battle Wasps. We're playing 3 Sting. This guy's actually nuts, and I didn't realize it until my first round today. When he's normal or special summon, you search a Battle Wasp, which everybody knows, but also he's just a negate. Quick effect monster negate, attributing another insect. Quick effect monster negate on the field. Really good. This card won me a game. Won me 2 games, actually, in the same match. Now, the most important card in the deck, Pin the Bullseye. This card won me my first round against Phantom Knights playing DPE. We ended up going into time. We had like a minute and a half left on the clock going into, I'm starting game 3, and he says, oh, you're probably just going to find Pin and burn me for 200. So I activated Prosperity. I said, I'm sorry I have to do this to you. I added the Pin, and then I summoned the Pin and burned him for 200. It was actually only 100 because of Prosperity, which makes it even funnier. But I felt kind of bad about it. But it's just a free summon anytime you have an insect, and then you can burn for 200 per pin on the field. Other than that, there's nothing important about him except he's adorable.
Bees better than Phantom Knights. You heard it here first.
Bees are better than Phantom Knights. Let's go. 2 Twin Bow. This card doesn't have to have an insect. You can just summon it in anything. And then you're locked into insects, but you can do it. During the main phase, you can just summon him for free. And then you're locked into insects for the rest of the turn. And he can attack twice, but you're never doing that. He's just a free summon. Who cares? 1 Arbalest. I honestly never used his card today. I didn't see it at all. But it special summons back another insect. Level 3 or lower. So it's functionally 2 monsters, which is good. Other than that, it doesn't really do anything. So this card's, it's important, but it's not critical. Play 1. Last minute addition, I was actually playing 40 cards, and then right before I left the house, I bumped it up to 42 so I could play Galaxy Worm. This card is really good for starting out your combo, just when you normal summon it. While you don't have any other monsters, you can special summon another worm from the deck, another Galaxy Worm specifically. So it just makes Armor Horn. It makes Pico if you're dumb and you summon Pico first, but it makes Armor Horn, and that's important. Sometimes you make Zeus with it, but that doesn't happen very often. He's cool though. Moving on to the 1-ofs, we got Doom Dozer. Most important 1-of in the game. Beautiful.
Is that the ulti?
It's the ulti. Ulti first. Beautiful.
Let's get up close.
Get the close up.
Let's go.
That's not where the pretty cards stop, though. But most important 1-of in the deck, you search it off the first Resonance Insect, and then he triggers your Resonance Insects by banishing them to summon. He also mills a card if you somehow manage to do damage with him, but you're never doing that. So get your ultis. They're really nice. Next one, Godarla. It's literally a kaiju, and it's also searchable. Who cares about what the rest of the words on the card say when it's searchable? Scary Moth. Nobody read this card today. Literally, I won my second round off of it in game 3. My first round, it didn't matter, but I ended the board with Scary Moth and Cicada King and Atlas, the normal combo. And my opponent went DPE, and I allowed him to, or I negated his DPE. I let him use the DPE, so that way when it died, it would get summoned back the next turn. And so the next turn during standby phase, he summons back the DP, and he's automatically locked out of special summons for the rest of the turn. It didn't end up mattering because he didn't have anything else, but heads up play for you insect freaks. Let DPE resolve if you have this on board, and let it summon itself the next turn. You'll thank me for doing it. Aztekapede, this card sucks. It's literally just Doom Dozer in terms of, it's half a Doom Dozer. You banish 1 insect to summon it, and then he still mills 1 whenever he does damage. 1900 attack, doesn't matter. Shatterfoil.
And then I also have Impermash.
Retaliating Sea, it's searchable. You summon this on like Shaddoll Fusion or Invocation, and you just make them banish everything. E-Telly, this card's crazy against Virtual World if you can draw it. That'd be nice. Fusion Destiny, send their Dasher and their Celestial to the Banish Zone. It's just really good. It's really good, and then you get to search something later on. So I don't know how I feel about it in the main deck. There's not a lot of like Invoked going around here or Shaddoll, so this might not make it in next time, but we'll see.
This is the best.
Goki Pole. A lot of people play this at like 2. Some people played at 3. I don't think that that's right. I think 2 is fine. I prefer 1. A lot of people will play the normal monster, and I like playing normal monsters. I want to play Killer Needle specifically, so that way I can out the Wind Statue. But when he's sent to grave, you just add a level 4. In your combo, you use this to add another Resonance Insect, and then normal summon it again. So it's just a search, and sometimes it's a search, a special summon, and a pop if you're really crazy. But I don't know if I'm that bold. Not yet, at least. That's all the insects, and all the non-insects, we're just playing 3 Ash, because we're boring. I was playing 3 copies of Droll, but I replaced that for something that I'll show you here in a minute, which actually is the only reason that I won any of my games. But it's Ash. I'm not going to sit here and explain Ash to you.
Forehead Ash.
Forehead Ash, let's go. If you use feet, I think less of you, and I don't think that you deserve the right to vote. Alright, that's all the monsters. Moving to spell cards. 3 Ready Fusion. A lot of people don't play this, but when I saw the deck, I really wanted to play this for the flex, and you know what this means if you're playing this. So I really like this card. It's just an extra extender. It's a free monster. Your whole combo is Resonance Insect plus a free summon. I really like it. Some people don't think it's optimal, but I think it's cool. And then the card that I cut Droll for, 3 copies of Prosperity. I never played this before, and I don't know why, but this card just digs you for whatever one piece you might need. If you have the Resonance Insect, if you have the Resonance Insect, it searches your free special summon. If you don't have the Resonance Insect, you get the Resonance Insect a lot of the time. So this card won me so many games. Winning in time was only possible because of this, because I found the pin and burned for 100. Shout out to you, Nate. This card is insane. Play it. There's a lot of builds that don't play this, but you should play it. If you have access to it, play it. This card is a godsend. One copy of Formation. It lets you special summon a Beetrooper from the grave, and you burn a little bit for yourself. And then if something gets destroyed, you get to summon a token. So that's cool. It comes up sometimes, but you're never seeing this before turn 1 unless you hard draw it, because you literally can't search it unless your opponent ashes you, which is fine. It's cool. You have to play it. It's fine. And one called by because we're a combo deck and we suck. And then the one copy of Fly and Sting, it's a monster negate. Same thing with Formation. You don't ever see it turn 1 unless you draw it. So you're searching it next turn. It's a monster negate and it does something in the grave. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what it does in the grave. I don't care. It doesn't matter. That's all for the main deck. So let's go into the extra deck. Flex, $90 rare. He's probably more or less right now, but this guy's so ugly and he sucks, but he's cool. He's good sometimes. He's just a free summon. Cicada King, most important card in your extra deck because this lets you summon back the Scary Moth and then it lets you lock out your opponent for the turn. And it's a monster negate. It's really good. BW players play this because insect monsters are better than every other card in their deck. So. Break Sword. This was supposed to be Giga Brilliant, and you play Giga Brilliant because it stops you from locking yourself into insects whenever you go to make Zeus. I couldn't find one, unfortunately, so I threw in a rank 3, and honestly, this should have been Fortune Tune, I think it is. The bird that doesn't get destroyed by battle. Because I ended up in a time against Virtual World where he had Crystal Wing and Dragoon, and I had baited them both out, and I made my rank 3, and I made Break Sword, and I just had to look at them because I didn't have something that could attack and not die. So this sucks. Play Fortune Tune or Giga Brilliant if you can find it. Zeus, it's Zeus. I'm not going to explain Zeus. Almirage, this is for when you open up Resonance Insect and no free summon. You can go Resonance Insect, tribute it, and then summon this. Or sorry, not tribute it. Link summon for Almirage, and then you trigger your Resonance to search something. It's weird, but you need to play it as a contingency. You could probably cut it, but I wouldn't. 2 Armor Horn. A lot of people play 3. This is the most important card in your deck, but honestly, you're recycling this a lot, so it doesn't actually matter if you play 2 or not. Gives you an extra normal summon, lets you summon it back by banishing 3, which usually is triggering 2 of your Resonance Insects. So you banish 2 from the grave to summon it back, and it's pluses. It's so good. 2 copies of Picofolina. This card is insane. Again, some people play this at 3. I don't see it as much as I do with the Armor Horn, but when you summon it, you discard a card and target another insect to equip it with another insect from the deck. You're usually equipping the Resonance Insect to get the 3rd proc. This card's insane. It also has a draw effect, but nobody cares about that. It very rarely comes up, shuffling back 3 insects. But it's good. It's great. I wouldn't play any more than 2. You have a couple of flex spots. I'm going to save those for the end. Next, Seraphim Papillon. This card really, really sucks, but it also wins you games. When you summon it, you get counters equal to how many monsters you use for a summon. It gains 200 for each counter, but then you can't use its other effect until the next turn, which is to special summon a level 4 or lower insect from the grave by removing a counter. It's really good. In one of my games, when my opponent went Fusion Destiny, I went Seraphim Papillon to summon back the Sting, and Sting negates monsters on a quick effect. So, the card's really good, but it's also like kind of bad. They just put a lot of unnecessary restrictions on the insect monsters, and that really sucks because this deck had a lot of potential. And then, of course, we're only playing 2 Atlas. I don't think anybody plays this at 3. This card's like good, but it's not great. This card could have been unaffected by card effects. It could have been not been able to be destroyed at all. But instead, it just can't be targeted or destroyed, and it's contingent on its attack. While it's 3,000 or less, can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And then once per turn on an ignition effect, you can tribute any insect to special summon a Beetrooper from the deck or make him gain 2,000 attack until the end of turn. When you do that, he's no longer indestructible. So, Invincible Atlas, I don't think so. And then your flex spots, you can really play any cards that you want in these 3 spots, but I opted to go for a Nightmare package and access code. I never summoned either of these, but I don't think they're bad. Every time that I went access code, I was just doing it through Seraphim Papillon instead. And I only made access code, I think, twice. So it didn't really matter. These cards can be anything. I like the Nightmare package just as a contingency, but they can be anything, honestly. Side deck, Contact C, it's searchable. It makes them have to use it. I couldn't use this, unfortunately. My only matchups where I could have used this were Tri-Brigade, which I didn't see, Phantom Knight, which the only useful time would have been against Bardiche. The rest of it doesn't matter because they can just link it off. And then Virtual World, which they can just use it to synchro summon because it's level 6. So this card didn't actually do anything for me today, but it is very good, and I think it's good in the right locals and the right metas, but it wasn't today. Another searchable kaiju of a different name. 2 Veiler. I don't like this, but it's like fine, I guess. This deck is really hard to side out of, and I never sided this in. I sided this in once, and I never saw it, but I don't think that it would have mattered if I had. It's fine. 2 Nib. I never found myself wanting to side this in, so I never did. If you're going first, you're setting up your board, and you don't want to nib your own board because it just outs your whole board, and your board is better than nib, honestly. And if you're going second, a lot of times you're not going to be able to get over the token, just depending on what you're playing against. So if you're going to play nib, be careful. I don't really like it. There's a lot of DPE and Dragoon floating around at my locals, so I'm playing the 1 Mind Control. I never got to side it in, and I think I sided it in once and I didn't get to see it. So this card's nuts, but unfortunately it didn't work for me today. Triple Tech, this card's crazy. You're playing a combo deck. I never saw it. Dark Ruler, like I said, lots of Dragoon, lots of DPE. We have a Sword Soul that's been tearing up locals. So, I mean, the card's nuts. And something I wanted to bring back today was Triple Evenly. I haven't played this card in like well over a year, but it's still really good. And there's a lot of back row going on at locals. There's a lot of Dragoon, Shen, and Crystal Wing. So Evenly is good. I like it a lot. I just didn't get a chance to use it today.
All right, that's the deck profile. Well, do you have anyone to shout out or anything like that?
That's all we got. I don't think that I have any shout outs except for Pack and Lord Trent on YouTube. Those are the 2 that I kind of put this deck together from. I kind of took both of their lists and mashed them up together. So Pack's build was from when the deck first came out. Lord Trent's is very recent, and his build is what got me on this combo and got me wanting to play it. So other than that, just shout out to Jordan at the Nautical. Check him out on YouTube. Check him out on Twitch whenever he goes on there, if he ever goes on there again.
Sometimes.
Other than that, like I said, subscribe to the Nautical or I'm going to be in your house.